To repair your Samsung Galaxy S2, you will need a replacement screen if that's been damaged. The digitizer and the AM OLED are bonded together, so they come as a pair. You'll also need a small Phillips screwdriver, small bladed screwdriver, a pointed tool of some kind, a pair of tweezers, and a plastic separation tool, or you can use your thumbnail. You also need a heat source like a hairdryer, fan heater, or here I've got a paint stripper. So first of all, make sure it's switched off and remove the back cover and remove the battery. Now we need to undo 7 of these Phillips screws. You can skip this part by clicking the link at the top of the video. And don't forget to remove the SIM card and the memory card. Don't worry about getting the screws mixed up because they're all the same size. Now we need to separate the frame from the case, and I've marked where the clips are. If you start in the corner and work your way back, that's the first clip. Keep coming back, another clip there, another one there, then come round to the top. Got 2 clips in the centre. That's then released. Come round the corner, there's a clip just there, and there's 2 more. And lift the cover away a little bit, and then just run your separation tool or thumbnail in the corner, and the same here, and you'll find the back will come away nice and easy. Don't worry if the power and the volume key fall out. We'll put them back a bit later. Now if you're replacing the back cover, you need to swap over the loudspeaker and the GSM antenna, and it's held in with a clip just here, so if you prise that out you'll find that comes out quite easy, and that's your loudspeaker and your GSM antenna. I believe it might be the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth antenna as well. That goes back in nice and easy. Now before we disassemble the phone, it's a good idea to test the new screen. So if we carefully unplug the screen, and to stop this shorting out you want to take a piece of sticky tape and just place that over there so it doesn't short out. Then take your new screen and just offer that up as best you can. And plug that in. Then reinsert your battery. And then we need to press the power button to turn it on. And now we can see if the screen's working okay, and as you can see it's working fine. You can let it fully boot to get to all those messages that you couldn't read. So now we know the screen's working okay. We want to turn it off. So again, press the power button and power off. So now we know the new screen's working okay. Carefully unplug it from the main board. And you can remove this sellotape. Remove the battery. If you need to replace the headphone socket or the earpiece, it also comes with the secondary microphone and the vibrating module. So start by unplugging the ribbon cable from the main board, and then we need to release the vibrating module. So using a pointed tool, carefully prise it up, and it's held on with double-sided tape. Then the secondary microphone and the headphone socket, and finally the earpiece will lift up. Again, it's just double-sided tape holding it in. Once you've done that, that will come away as one complete unit. Now we need to release the other ribbon cables. So this is your secondary camera. You can unplug it, but you can't take it out just yet. And we come down to, this is the keys at the bottom of the screen. This is the plug for your micro USB and microphone at the bottom of the phone. Now we need to undo these two black screws. There's one here and there's one here. They're quite a bit different from the others, so don't worry about getting them mixed up. And you can always use tweezers if they don't come out. Now this part's very important. Before you try and lift the main board out, we need to unplug the antenna. So carefully lift that away and unhook it and remove it, and then carefully lift it off the board at the bottom and put that aside. Now we need to release the power button. It's held on with double-sided tape, and be careful not to tear the ribbon. So using the bladed screwdriver, carefully lift it away and try and keep the double-sided tape on the button itself. Once you've released that, that'll come away. Same again with the volume keys. Just carefully lift it away. Try and leave the double-sided tape on the switch. And the same again here. Just carefully lift it away. And once you've done that, we'll be ready to lift the main board away. So that's free now. Then carefully lift the main board up, lifting up that ribbon there, and that'll come away. Now if you need to replace the volume keys or the power button, you need to use a fine tip soldering iron to solder the connections. If you need to replace the camera, then flip this little bar up and carefully lift that away, and the camera will come out. When you put it back in, you need to line up the board with these marks on the circuit board. So insert it back in again, making sure it's pushed all the way home, and you can see the gold lines have lined up with the circuit board. And then flip that back down again. This is the backup battery for when you change your battery, keeps the time and the date. And SIM card holder and SD holder. Now if you're having trouble with your microphone or your micro USB port, you can replace this little board at the bottom. Start by releasing the ribbon cable up here. So again, it's double-sided tape. If you're replacing it, it doesn't matter if you tear the ribbon, but carefully lever it away and keep coming down, keep lifting it up until it's completely free. Then undo these 2 silver screws. And it's held on with double-sided tape, so starting from this end, just carefully lift it up and away, and that's your microphone just there. So just move it out and you can replace that if you need to. Now we can remove the secondary camera and the proximity sensor. So using a pointed tool, lift that small metal plate up and be careful not to lose that. And the proximity sensor is held in with double-sided tape. So very carefully lift the camera out and try and get your screwdriver in here and lever the proximity sensor away from the frame. And there we go. Now we can replace the screen. We need to get it nice and hot so the glue softens, and you've got double-sided tape here and we've got it down both sides as well. So I'm going to get it nice and hot, and then I'm going to push the screen away from the metal case. So push it through here, you can push it through there. It doesn't matter if you damage it because you're replacing the screen anyway. So turn on your heat source. Once you've got the screen nice and hot, you can push from behind and push the screen away from the frame. Don't worry about melting the frame because it's made of metal. Keep pushing and it'll gradually come unstuck. It's quite a strong double-sided adhesive. So take your time. Don't worry if you break the screen, and keep levering it away and it will slowly come unstuck, working your way towards the bottom. So the same again on this side, just keep separating the screen, working your way down to the bottom. And when we get to the bottom, you need to be very careful because we have the home button and the 2 touch keys which have a small ribbon circuit at the bottom here. So just be very careful not to damage the ribbon cables, although it is quite easy to change the home key if you need to. Now the black adhesive tape at the bottom should be replaced because it acts as a light shield, so when the bottom keys light up it doesn't bleed into the bottom of the screen. Now, I didn't have any to replace this, so I left it off. It doesn't do any harm, and it does make it quite a lot easier to change the screen in the future if you break the screen again. You don't really notice the bleed through unless you're using the phone at night anyway. So clean off all the adhesive at the bottom. And I'll show you how to change the touch keys and the home key in the next clip. Now we can remove the rest of the screen. Don't worry about breaking the screen. Just lift it away. And try and remove all the double-sided tape that's left behind. Now we need to recover the speaker grill from the top. So lift that black tape away and put your speaker grill aside. So make sure there's no adhesive left around the edges. And once you're happy that's all nice and clear, we can go on to the next stage. If you need to replace the home key or the bottom touch keys, then come round to the back and we need to release this ribbon cable. So using your screwdriver, lift the ribbon cable away. Don't worry about damaging it if you're replacing the buttons. Just keep lifting it up until it's free. And then over this side we've got a small earthing tag. We need to lift that away as well. Then come over to the other side and you can lift the keys away and the home key will come unstuck as well. And the last one. And then you can remove it from the case. So make sure all the adhesive is completely removed, and now we're ready for assembly. So if you've got a new home key, insert the ribbon cable into this groove here. And offer that up so the small holes line up with the pins on the case. And home key set down, and you might have to remove some protective film on the back before you put these on. Once you're happy they're in place, come round, and again you might have to pull off some protective film on the back and put that back down, making sure these little holes line up. Once you're happy that's done, we need to put the speaker grill back on the top. So offer it up so the little cutout lines up with the recess in the case there. Once you're happy that's in, we need to put the home key in. So take the home key and insert one side in there, and then insert that through and come round to the other side and make sure that these are located both sides. So now we're ready to put the new screen on. So remove the protective film from the back and insert the ribbon cable through there and line it up as best you can, making sure it's lined up nicely all around the edge. And once you're happy it's lined up, give it a good firm push to stick it back down. So once you're happy that's done, Yeah, looks good. Now we can put the micro USB socket back into the bottom. So offer up the board under that clip there, making sure the screw holes line up. And then take these large headed screws and put them back in. And push the microphone down into place. Then push the ribbon cable back down. Give it a good gentle push. Now we can put the proximity sensor and the secondary camera back in. So offer up the proximity sensor into there and the camera. Make sure that's pushed fully home. Then take that small metal plate and insert that into this side first and then push it down into place. That keeps the proximity sensor pushed right up against the screen, as you can see there. Now we can put the main board back on. So I'll offer up the top first and make sure the ribbon cables are open, and gently push it down into place. Then we can put the volume key back down into the case. Just give that a gentle push, make sure that sticks down nicely. And now we can plug the screen cable in. So line up the plug as best you can and then push that down into place. And the secondary camera, push that down nice and gently until that snaps into place. Then we've got the keys at the bottom and the micro USB leads, and now we can put the two small black screws back in. And if you're replacing this, you need to pull off the protective backing where the double-sided tape is. So offer up your vibrating module into its hole and the headphone socket, and finally the earpiece. Give it a gentle push, make sure it's all sitting down nicely, and then put this ribbon cable back in again. So final check to make sure everything is pushed fully home, making sure that the Philips connectors are pushed fully down and that your volume key is pushed fully in, and these two ribbon connectors are done, and your microphone is pushed in. And now we need to replace the antenna cable. So start from this end and offer this up to the connector and make sure that's pushed fully in. Then hook the cable around the circuit board and bring it down into the groove. and carefully offer that up and make sure that goes all the way in. If you get any reception problems, it might be this connector or the one on the other end. So following the white cable along, making sure it's pushed all the way down and it's fully plugged in. We need to make sure the power switch is stuck back down, so if it's lined up with the recess in the case, give it a gentle push, and if it's a new one you'd have to remove the protective coating on the back before it sticks down. That's working fine. Now we can put the back cover back on. So take the power button and offer that up into the case, so those little plastic parts go in that groove there, and come over to this side. Same again. Making sure they're lined up, and keep it round this way and offer up the base, line it up as best you can, making sure that power button lines up, and come round to this side, making sure that lines up, and once you're happy you can squeeze the case together and it'll all snap into place. Once you're happy that's all pushed down, we can put the 7 screws back in. You can skip this by clicking the link at the top of the video. So reinsert your SIM card and your micro SD card, put your battery back in, and replace the back cover, and switch her on, and you can leave the cover on, but I'm going to put it off. And there you have a fully repaired Samsung Galaxy S2. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and give me the thumbs up, and I'll do my best to make some more in the future.